are you? Let me turn this iPad on. Man, I always struggle with that. Okay, in a second. Let me go to my channel. There we go. Okay. So, I don't know if there's anybody here. Yeah, there's one. Okay. Wish that was a little straighter. It kind of messes with me a little bit. If I start messing with it though, I'm going to really get it out of whack, so I better just watch it. Hey Amy, how are you? Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to do a double fan fold here. Double fan fold ice dye. I'll show you how I do it. Hey, that actually helped just a little bit, didn't it? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is clean my table off. I don't know if you were just here or not, but I just did a colander dye. This is a continuous spray water bottle. Just hit it a couple times and continuously like this. But I just did a colander dye, and I did it. I dyed it on my folding table, and I don't ever do that except when I'm doing a video. So I really have to make sure this is cleaned off, so they don't transfer any like black or anything, any colors I don't want on it. You know. It's not a huge ordeal because it'll probably get covered up, but you know, best to be forming good habits, you know. Okay, so we're going to do a double fan fold, and let me pull this kind of close. I'm going to do this on a Kirkland large. See, you always get a couple specks somewhere, but you know, it ain't no big thing because I'm going to be using blues. I'm going to use Mindbender. I just got it in the mail yesterday, and I just now opened the dye jar just to even see what the dye looks like. I hadn't even messed with it yet. So I'm going to let my first experience with Mindbender be live. So whatever happens with this shirt happens with it, you know. Like I said, this is a Kirkland large size, and I'd done one before, and the results were killer. It accepted the dye. Boy, the saturation was perfect on it. I'm hoping I get the same results. I'm trying to think, is there any color I want to use with Mindbender? I don't know. I'll just kind of think about it. But let me move this over a little bit. So I have these rifle cleaning rods that I like to use. I go up each side. Help me get a good crisp starting point. You know, right there. Right there. I'll use this brown pin. So what I need to do is center my shirt. So I'll show you how I center my shirt in case, you know, somebody doesn't know how to do it. So what I do is I grab down here at the bottom, fold that over, stick my finger in here, get it to where it's level across, so I know it's, put a line here, open it up a little bit and put a line in the center right there, put a little line right here, just a little grab point. Okay, I'll step over here, put that right there, grab this right here. Yeah, these are nicely made shirts. I'm going to stick this sleeve inside this sleeve, like so. Okay, so it needs to come down a little bit. That's alright, it'll all come together. So what you want to do is line this seam up with the inside seam. See, it's actually sitting right here. So I want to make sure I get these seams lined up where they're supposed to be. And it might take a second. See, it's running up. So I just need to get it lined up. It takes a second. You don't want to go by your tag. If you go by your tag, there's a lot of times that there's a good chance that you're going to be off. But if you go by your seams, on the shoulder seams, and you know you're going to be squared on right here, and it falls pretty close. All right. Right there. All right, let me double check it. Like I said, this is only the second time I've used these shirts. So I want to make sure my center isn't like horribly off. That looks better. Okay. So I have my thing there, back here. I'm going to pull this over to match that. And this is where the rifle cleaning rods really come in handy. Alright, so what I do is I'm going to pick this up and give it just a little snap, nothing major. Alright, you don't have to really slam it real hard or anything. Okay. There. That looks good. Now here's where my rifle cleaning rods will come in handy for me. Down, get these lined up, and they are. I can stick this through the sleeve, get that lined up, up the top, stick it through here, get that nice and straight, and go up the side here. Go up to the side. So if you can get a good starting point, it's going to really show, you know, to the rest of the shirt. Oh, that's nice. Nice and crisp right there. All right. I like that. It's nice. Feels good. Those are nicely made shirts. They are, Amy. They really are. All right. So if you don't have any rifle cleaning rods, and a lot of people don't, you know, I mean, I get it. I understand. You can use other things. I found dowel rods at Walmart for like 39 cents, and they're the same thing. You can stick it up through, pull them out. Stephanie would always say the windy things for blinds, window blinds. Those would work good too, you know. So I mean, it helps you get a nice, good starting point. It's nice and crisp. This line right here is everything's laying right in. And it's a nice tight. So this corner, when I open that up, and it's on the side, it should look pretty good. Okay, so I'm going to make sure that these are pretty close. Okay, and if you have clips, you can clip it. Sometimes I do, and sometimes I don't. Let me see. I took my clips. I did a demonstration, tie-dye demonstration this past weekend. And I took a lot of stuff that I use there, and I might not have it. But it doesn't matter. That's not going to matter in the least bit. Most of the time I don't use it. I was just going to show you, you know, how you can use them, but it's not a big deal at all. All right, so what I'm going to do is I like to have my center point. I used to put my center point down here, you know, like in the middle of the shirt. I don't really like that anymore because there's a lot of times you can hide the center point because I draw an arc and then I freehand it. You can use a protractor and your pleats are going to be tall and everything, but that's fine. I mean, it's perfectly fine. This is just the way that I've learned how to do it. Sometimes the center point isn't exactly perfect, and that's what I like about tie-dye anyway. So I'll put a little dot here, and that's where I want to start my line. That's going to be the center of my arc, all right? And these are washable markers, all right? This is a Crayola Super Tip. They work really good, and with my shirt being crisp and, you know, good, like I keep saying, a good starting point, it's not going to chatter. I used to run extruder lines, and sometimes the pieces coming off would be like tick, 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 and we called it chattering, and I still call it that. So like if I start going around and it's like I call it chattering. With these tips, they don't seem to do it very, very often. You know, they're called super tips, Crayola super tips. So here's my starting point. I'm going to go, I don't know, just, you know, not all the way to the end, of course, you know what I mean? So I'm going to put my finger there. We'll say right there. Yeah, that's good. So see how it's not really chattering? I love these Crayola super tips. All right, come around. All right, and then I'm going to draw another little one right here. All right, just like so. And I'm going to, depending on how, I'm left-handed, so I like working my way around and pulling my shirt over and making, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start pleating this line. I'm going to pleat this bigger one. And I want to do each pleat all the way across, and I have some pleating tools. Get a hold of Jen, board them with Jen, and she makes all the tools that I use. And I'm telling you, she makes the best tie-dye tools, her and her husband John. and I have sinew pullers and caddies, and I love them. I can't talk them up enough. And Jen and John are great people. I mean, they're great people to deal with. Any problems that you would have, they would be on it to fix it for you, I'm sure. But they make great products, so check them out, all right? And I'll be using this here in a little bit. I like the hexagonal ones. It doesn't roll. If your table's on level, it won't roll. But I like using my pleating tools. And so we'll get started here, all right? I'm going to, a skewer, yeah, skewers would work good too. I'm going to set my iPad there that doesn't bother anybody. And I'm going to just keep my shirt like that, and I'm going to sit right here. That way I'm going to be working, pulling everything down, all right? So I'm going to set my tool here. I use just, it doesn't matter how big your rubber bands are. I'm just using these brown rubber bands, and it's just to hold my shirt until I get my sinew on. So it doesn't matter, you know, how taut your rubber bands are. And I'll even use these little tiny, they almost look like what you would use when you have braces and stuff. All right, so, but my pleats are usually, I start usually about 3/4, and that's just by feel. If I was to measure that, I'm probably not too far off from 3/4 of an inch. Oh, I just had it. I know I have a ruler here because I was just using it when I was doing my colander die. Let's see, I'm gonna need it sometime, but we'll have to find it then. Okay, so just work down to your point there. Just like that. And I do the whole pleat. Now that's really got me wondering what I did with my ruler. Yeah. See, oh, here it is. Okay. I got it. So this pleat is dead on at 3/4, where I started. At the end, 1.5 inches. And then of course it goes down to nothing. So where I started it is 3/4 inch pleat. The end is 1.5. Is that what I said? Yeah, 1.5. So it, you know, it does taper. It's a wedge when I get done with this. Okay, and I'll try to keep my head up out of the way. So here's where, let me get this stuff out because I don't need this yet. And I'm used to like looking over my work, but I know I can't do that. I'll have my head in the way. Okay. And the thing is, you can always zoom in. I can actually zoom in if I want, but I like to keep it normal and then let you guys zoom in if you want to. All right. So what I want to do is keep this line straight, so I have to move my shirt around to where I can keep that line straight. And now if I go and make my line, it's off just a little bit. I don't know if you can see it. If you zoom in, you might. So I'm going to have to come back off of it and spin it a little more. Okay, not as bad there. And this will be my first mind bender shirt. Anxious to see what it does. Okay, so here's where your pleating tools come in handy. Draw your line down. Okay. Spin my shirt a little bit. And I'm going to make every pleat the same height. Okay. Like that. This has to come up. Use your pleating tool. Like so. Like that. This first one always wants to go that way just a little bit, but when you get done, you can manipulate these lines and move them over just a little bit wherever you need them. Okay. Now I got to remember to try to keep my head up out of the way here. Okay. We'll keep going. No questions. All right. Keep that line straight. Okay. Just like that. Alright, so if you need to, you can zoom in on it. And I'll try to keep my stupid head out of the way. Alright, so I'll come up off of that chair. Let me pull this back. Alright. Sometimes you just got to kind of work it a little bit, you know. It might want to kind of wrinkle up a little bit, but that's where the little bit of patience comes into play, you know. And some of these will kind of get lost down here sometime because it's going down to nothing, you know. So like that one right there, I might have to, when I get to the end, I might have to mess with it a little bit. Okay. All right, so just keep that line straight. All right, I zoomed in a little bit on my iPad. So there you go. Just try to keep it as straight as you can. I like to try to get this arc, I like to try to get it just on the left side of this line. Then when I make my pleat, it seems to like line right up. All right, so it's like a little, when I look down on it, it's a little off to the left just a little bit. So I'll try to do it and see if you can't see it. Now here's where I get my, I can see this one's down just a little bit. You can use your, I have these quilting, they're quilting, yeah. There you go. They have like little paddles on them. Tweezers, duh. So I use it to kind of pull it up, pull my pleats up. Alright. Try to cover these stickers up here a little bit. Spin that over. Now, I don't know if you can see, and my shirt's off to the side now. This line is to the left of this line, and that's how I kind of like it. And it'll kind of line up. See how it lined up? And if you watch my hands, I pretty much, if I'm messing with my pleats, I keep my hand on that line. Now my shirt's just barely damp, so I can let go of my shirt and it's not going to go anywhere. Even if it was dry, it probably wouldn't, you know, but I know I'm not really going to have to worry about that. So I'm just going to continue working my shirt over. Make that line straight. Like that. Use my pleating tool. Like that. Alright. Not too hard. Pull that over. Line that up. Use my pleating tool. So it's just repetitious. Everything I'm just constantly repeating myself like this. But see how I keep my hand on my I keep my hand on my line if I'm working my pleat. And then when I'm not working my pleat at all, I can let off of it. It's not going to bounce around or go anywhere. All right, so since I'm going to mess with my shirt, I have to keep my hand on the line. Move my shirt over. Make my pleat. Like that. Okay. And it'll just go over like that. I'm getting close to that shoulder seam there. Sometimes that comes into play. The taller your pleats, the less that comes into play. But since I'm only doing like 3/4 pleats around here, it will definitely come into play. I mean, most definitely. But you just work through it. That's all you can do. You know, it is what it is. Just keep making the same pleats. That's all you can really do. Pull that up. Keep your hand on the line, work your in there. So when I get done with my pleating, my work messing around with these pleats are going to be minimal. Most of my work's going to be down here at the end, and it's going to be minimal too. So see how this is going to come into play. Just work through it. That's all you can do. Pull that up. Like that. And then that is going to kind of mess with you a little bit. So I just do the best that I can. And one of those pleats are going to get lost. And I just work with it just like that. I mean, that's all I can do. Okay. Now if you have long sleeves, and I thought about doing a long sleeve, but I'll do a long sleeve when it gets cooler out. My head's in the way. My head's always in the way. I apologize for that. So just work that around, or work that over. Make a pleat right there. Pull that up. Like that. Okay. So the lines stay pretty straight. Look at my head, man. Golly. I'm always in the way. I'm telling you, it's hard to do videos and not have your head in the way. Try it yourself sometime. It's not the easiest, especially when you're pleating. Okay. So I'll go ahead and finish. I just wanted to sit down and give my back a break there for a second. Pull that up, and we're almost done here. Right like that. Okay. I'll put one there. I'll put one in the back behind it. And I'll put one in front. Yeah, these are nice shirts. Right there. So my work down here is going to be pretty minimal. Let me zoom in, and you can too, actually. Yeah, that's cool. I hope that doesn't mess with you. I can actually, I'm not sitting in my chair, I'll pull it down here to the side and look down on it. Okay, so you can work this down. So that's where that is. That's just the way the cookie crumbles, you know. Right there. And then here's where that one is getting kind of lost. And you just do your best. That's why I like doing this down by the armpit. I used to do it down low on the shirt, and I felt, you know, those were showing up a little too much. So if you do it up in the armpit, and see how this line's straight, and then it kind of, these always kind of ride up, always. So I just pull them down, and I'll add one right there. And like I said, I've been having some problems with these. I mean, I hate to call them out, you know, because I don't mind. I like their product, but I've been having a problem with these Gildan shirts, and I can tell these are nicely made shirts, really nicely made shirts, by this, even just the stitching and stuff, how they're put together. And let's turn this over. So here's where my work is now kind of minimal, because I worked my pleat all the way up. Okay. So see how that's, I try to keep all that squared. Like that. Like that. Go under it. One there. One there. Okay, so I'm definitely going to use the mind bender that I got. Should I do any other color? What do you think? Nobody's saying anything. Is anybody out there? Hello? I don't know. I'll just do my thing. How about we'll do mind bender. I could always just do mind bender and do do on the sinew lines and in between, or I could do like, I tell you, man, I know moose would look good with it, because moose is my second favorite color. I could stick with dark horse dyes. I have Actius Luna and Wild Garden. Nah, I think I'll do. Mind Bender A, and that's all I'll do. I'll just use Mind Bender A. So I'll show how I do one color on my shirt. And so I'm going to add sinew lines to this. Okay, every 2.5 inches, I'm adding sinew. Okay, so here's where I needed my ruler. Every 2.5 inches. So I need a washable marker. I don't keep Sharpies and washable markers in the same container. Don't do that. There's a good chance you could probably grab the wrong marker and put a line somewhere you don't want it. Okay, so 2.5, 5, 7.5, 10. I'm lefty, so I have to go above my work here. 2.5, 5, and 7.5. And this is where I'm going to add my sinew lines. Okay. Like that. Every 2.5 inches. And I'll take my my rubber bands off as I go. I'm going to start with a slip knot, so it'll get tighter. I want and I'll stand up when I do this. I want I work that way, and I have my loose end going from the bottom up to the top right. So what I do is I want my knot to fall over here, not up here. So let me take that rubber band off. Okay. Okay, just watching diligent. Okay. Do you always do 2.5, or do you change it up based on the size of the shirt? You know, if it's a 4X or a 5X, I do 3-inch lines. Anything smaller than that, I just do 2.5-inch lines. All right. So like I said, I want my knot to fall over here, not up here. I know this is my first 2.5-inch line, but I always make a small nub. I don't want a big, because when you open that up, it's going to be that big around. I don't want that. So I want a little nub, and then they start going 2.5 inches. So here's where I was talking about. Try it right there. Perfect. That's good. Okay. So I had my arc, my line that I did my arc with, it's green. So I had wanted to grab a different color to draw my lines, because here's my green line right there. And it's easy to put my sinew line on that. And I don't want to do that. So make sure you grab a different color marker. Okay, so what I do is I wrap 2 times and pull till it cinches. Now that kind of came up there a little bit, but that's all right. Okay, so the blue line, and with this first line, I'll show you a little trick that I do. So there's one wrap right there, and I want to do 2 wraps. Okay, and I try to stack it as well as I can. This first line you might have to pull just a little taut at first. That way it stacks on top of each other good. Okay, and then I use my ruler and I put it over top. And what it's going to do is it's going to keep this from tacoing up. You know what I mean? So I hold my hand over top of it and I pull till it's cinched. I can feel it cinch. And now it pulled these in, but it's not tacoing up. Okay, and then usually it's just that first one because it's kind of loose. All right, so I can take that one off and just go underneath, and I can just go ahead and take that off there. All right, so what I'll do. Go up, and when I make these pulls, it makes these blue lines want to curl in. It's straight, but it makes them want to curl in a little bit. Just go to the outer edge. It's not really going to be that noticeable, really. Okay, so pull this first one just kind of taut, and I stack that as well as I can. And now I really don't have to worry about it tacoing. I mean, let's do it one more time. Pull it till it's taut, and it just did. Okay, so what this is going to do, and I'll lay a shirt over top of it. Let me show you an example of what we're doing here. And let me see if I have a double fan fold, which I know I do. It might be a dress. Okay, so if you want, you can zoom in on this. And what it is I'm adding this sinew. I add the sinew to it, and it's causing the disruption in the dye. All right, let me move the shirt out from underneath it. It's causing disruption in the dye. So it's not really so much white causing white lines because I'm only wrapping it twice. If you wrap it 3 or 4 times and pull it tight, then you're going to have white lines. Now you can see the white lines in the center. Okay, so you see where this was my first 2.5 inch line right here. This is why I made this little nub right here, because I don't want this just to be one solid collar blob right here. All right, so that's why I always just make a little nub, just like I did right here. Okay. So it's just going to disrupt the flow of the dye. It's not going to. Thanks, K-Dollar, very much. Yeah, it's not going to leave white lines. Now, like I said, it will just a little bit down here on the ends, on the edges. But, you know, that's a given because, and I'll show you here, let me move this out of the way. And it's a given because it's right here, it's on these edges. So when you open the shirt, you know, you're going to have those white lines. Me and Steph have tried to figure out ways not to do it. Not to get those. She's used some kite string before and had really good results. She showed me the shirt and I was like, wow, man, that's really nice. So you know, you can use kite string and pull hard. You know. So here's where I'm not going to have to. I won't have to worry about the shirt going up. Okay. Okay, so since I'm only doing it twice, now watch. If you can zoom in, you'll see I'm just going to pull until it gets tight. till it cinches. And there it did. So I'm not like pulling it into like a geode. I'm not pulling it geode tight. Just till those two lines cinch together. Okay. Wrap it up. Go up. And this is flat sinew. Some people go to order it and they'll see round and flat. This is flat sinew. There, if you go back and I'll like flatten it down, because I want my dye to flow. I'm going to be inclining this. This nub's going to be up, and it's going to be inclined at about, usually it's about 17 degrees. I use the same thing so I know what my degree is, and I feel like that's a pretty good degree. There's an app, and sometimes I think it might even be part of the iPhone. It's called Eye Level, and that was a good one. It'll give you your pitch. You can just set your phone on it and it'll give you your angle. And I figured out what angle I liked and recorded it, and now I know that if I have a bunch of projects going on and I can't use the same, because I use it like a cooler to use as my incline. If I'm doing too many projects that I can't use that cooler, then I have to improvise and use something else, and I can put my phone on there and make sure I'm at the right incline as all the others, you know. So I'll go over like that, pull till it cinches, which isn't a hard pull. Like that. And since that's the last one, I'll go around 3 times, and I don't tie it off. It's waxed, so it's not going to go anywhere. Let's see, do I have any scissors down here? Yes. Just cut it off. Okay. So that's my double fan fold. And I'm going to add dye on the sinew lines, and then I'm going to add dye in between the sinew lines. So that's what I was saying. Do I want to add any? Do I want to add anything with the dye, with the mind bender, or you know, like black or another color? Someone told me emerald green was good with it. I think I'll just do it by itself, and I'll add color to both. And I think I'll be not real shy with it. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and add one of these little rubber bands to the end here. Right there. And I'll bring my dye station over here. And I hate doing it, but you know, you do what you gotta do. Use my rubber bands. Okay, I'll show you. I've shown you before, I'll show you again here. This is my dye, little dye station thing that I use to dye on. You do my ice dye powder, and it's this is a cookie sheet, and there's a bunch of dye underneath it because this is perforated, a bunch of holes in it, like a screen, and my dye will fall down through it, and I collect it, and there's a bunch in there, and I have got a ton of that collected dye. And it's cool to use it too, because you get a lot of different colors that come out. But after talking to one of my friends that lives in Wales, I try to be a little more diligent about collecting it and saving it, because they in Europe, they have a hard time getting our dyes. You know, I mean, Dharma and Prochem and Dye Spin, it's expensive for them to get dye. They actually have to go together as like a collective and dole it out, you know, and get like 5-10 pounds at a time, because shipping is so much. So I was sitting taking it for granted and just putting it on there and wiping it through my thing. And so if I do one color, I need to keep it. I need to save it, you know, and not just be like that. So I put, what I did is I got some, I have some computer paper, folded it up long ways and cut it, and then I can collect my dye and put it back in my jar. Okay, and here's the dye spin. This is kind of wild, there's no tape around it. I'm used to having like the black tape that goes around it, but it's on the brown side actually. When you put a spoon in it and see what it's chalky or powdery. It looks kind of chalky, but not overly chalky, you know, hard to work with. It doesn't look bad. Looks like it comes off the spoon relatively easy. So that's nice. It falls right out. Alright. So I'm not going to be real light-handed with this, because I haven't used it before. I don't really want any white. Now whatever happens, happens. I'm not going to stress over it. I'm going to, well, let's just do it and I'll show you what I do here. Okay. So this is Dye Spin Mind Bender, and hopefully this comes out really super cool. And I'll start calling, instead of Mind Bender, I'll start calling it Mind Blower. Let's see what happens here. Okay, so I'm going to put some on that sinew line, but since that edge of that shirt's right there, I'm going to go ahead and work it all the way over here. Alright, so that's my first sinew line. And that out a little bit. And just be as easy as you can. You see there was a piece of little ball that rolled right there, you see it? Now what I do have, and it's not a big deal because this is all going to be one color anyway, but if it wasn't, I have these little, they're like little coffee stirrers. There's a little tiny spoon on it, and I would be as careful as I could and try to get that up there. And I did, I was able to get it. It's not that big of a deal, because that dye is going to be flowing down there anyway, and this is all one color. I see like little pieces of like, I know it sounds stupid, it almost looks like little tiny pieces of charcoal or something in this stuff. What is it? But yeah, it comes off the spoon, nice. There's like little black flakes. Might be a collar. Okay, so I'm going to move some of this over here. And when you're working with your dye, try to be mindful and careful about what you're doing and how, you know, like, it's easy to like start moving your dye over top of your project, and it falls off your spoon in places you don't want it to be, and it happens all the time. Just, it's, you know, try to just be mindful of it. I try to be. you know. I'm a lefty, so I kind of have to go over top of my project sometimes. I'll add a little more to that. Okay. Okay. So what I used to do is I would do dye over and dye under. I'll just do a little here on the nub. In between. Okay. So hopefully we get like some really beautiful designs that come through on this. And if we do, you'll see how forgiving ice dyeing is. To me, it's very forgiving. But so you see how I use that paper underneath you catch all that. But I'm very OCD, and I just saw a post the other day about it, and I feel like it gives me a good attention to detail, actually. Everything in my life seems fast, and then this gives me a chance to actually slow down. And if I do more than one project a day, then I don't have to worry about being impatient, and so do something every day, and then you don't have to worry about rushing your work and rushing your projects and stuff. So that's dye spin A. They say dye spin B has a little more purple in it. So what we're doing is we're leaving room for this dye to flow. If I just cover the whole shirt, who knows? I mean, I'm still going to get flow, but it's going to be really overly saturated. So I leave room for my dye to flow, I need to do an experiment where I just do a line right here and see how far that line goes down. I bet you it would go down to here, I mean, it's going to flow because at 17 degrees, so, and actually it looks like I might put a little bit more on that line there, in this line, because this is the first time I've used this dye. I don't know how heavy-handed I need to be, and I'd rather be a little overly saturated than underly saturated, and I don't want really any white in this. My goal is to not have any white. If it happens, it happens. And if I do have any, it's going to be down here where the shirt is taller, not down here where the roll or the pleats are a little tighter. It's going to be down here. Now, not so much at the very end because everything's going to be going down that way, but I'll put a little bit more right there. Okay. I like it. I don't hate that. Alright, so let's see. Mindbender has some nice splits. I think it'll turn out some cool. Alright, Kara, thank you. Or, I'm sorry, Kyra, thank you very much. Yeah, trial and error, you know. And a lot of, I've done a lot of these. It's probably in the hundreds now. So it's not, you know, it's kind of second nature. Just like, you know, experience means everything. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull my shirt off here just to the side. And I'm going to put my dye, that loose dye back in this bottle. Okay. Like that. So I did 2 videos tonight. I don't know if you saw the first one. It was a colander dye. And I've been wanting to get back on my videos. So now's a good time. So that's dye spin A. Alright. So let me go ahead and move my dye station here back to where it's supposed to be. And I have pleating tool underneath. I need to get out of here. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I have these gutters. My friend owns a gutter business, so I have access to nice gutters as tall as I want them. The ones that you get at Lowe's that are the vinyl gutters, those are about 2.5 inches tall. So a lot of times, I know Stephanie would have to, she would have to ice it more than once. With mine, I can get 6-inch tall gutters if I want, and they're aluminum. And I can go and raid his scrap, and I just make him a couple shirts, you know. He loves tie-dye. I make him a couple shirts, and I'll go and raid his scrap. And these guys that make this gutter, they make scrap all the time. So what you want to do, and it works, believe me, call your local gutter person and ask them if they could sell you some scrap that you're wanting to do some arts and crafts with. And it doesn't have to be super clean, but what happens is they get to the end of their roll. It's called a coil. They get to the end of their coil, and they might have like 10-foot pieces, you know, that are in their scrap because they recycle it, and then it's a brand new gutter. So then you can cut those down to like 3-foot sections and have your gutter. And that's what these are. Let me show you. And that's what these are. These are 5-inch tall, and I can hold as much ice in these as I want. It's actually just a little over 5-inch tall on the back side. So my shirt, I always put, okay, so if you look at this gutter, it has a rolled edge right here. It's tucked in, and this is just the back. I always put my nub on this side, so that way I know which way. Let's say and it's happened before, I threw my shirt in, put my ice on, and the door rang or something, and I had to go upstairs, and when I came back down, I forgot which side needed to go up or down. So I always put my nub on the left side of this rolled part. So I always know, if I do the same thing all the time, then I know, you know. So I just set my shirt in there, and I'll move it back just a little bit. And I use old washcloths on either end, and that will be where so my ice doesn't fly out of the ends. Okay, so give me just 1 second. Okay, I'm still here. Okay, so I put these washcloths at either end, and it's just going to keep my ice from flying out. All right. I make my own ice. Got a Rob's on it. It's through Amazon, and I make, I think, 110 pounds a day if I need to. I think that's about what I make. It might be the 75 pounder, but I make a lot of ice, and I don't need to go and buy it anymore, which is super nice. So let me grab some ice, and what I do is I buy 20-pound bags off Amazon, 20-pound ice bags, and I have a deep freezer, and I store my ice that I make in my deep freezer. So my ice is actually really cold. It stays in there for like 3 or 4 days before I use it. So it almost sounds like glass. You know, it's so cold and hard. So hold on just a second. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this salad bowl up with my ice. Give me just 1 second. Okay, so I'll move this over. Here's my ice. You see how it's like glass. That stuff's so cold. And I usually set this on the floor, and I start over here and I just pour it up. I don't try to place it or anything. Whatever happens, happens. And that goes, if I even have 3 different colors, I just pour it. I've always liked the results that I get, so I'm not messing with it, you know? So this will be my incline up. All right, so here, let me go ahead and just pour this out. And I go kind of quick, all right? That way, I'm not displacing very much dye, you know. I set a camera right over top of it and put it on slow motion to see how much dye is getting thrown around. It's not as much as you think if you go fast. And I'm going to add just a little bit more on the end here. Chunk. Like that. That's what I do every time. Now, we're going to keep it just like that. We're not going to add any dye over the ice or anything like that. I used to do that all the time. And I just don't want to. I want to see what this looks like dye under ice. If I have any white in it, I have white in it. I'm not going to stress it. I always stress having white. I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to let this, I'm going to let the ice melt down here in my basement. It's only like 68 degrees down here. So when I get up in the morning, I have to get up at 5, something like that, and go to work for a few hours. I work at a golf course. I'm going to mow the greens in the morning. So I get up and I'll get up here and come downstairs and look at this, and it'll probably be the ice will be melted. This is this set of ash I'm putting on top, just as a, just to make sure, you know. So that's how I do my double fan folds. All right. So you can see I still have probably, just sitting on top of that ice right there. I still have an inch and a half of gutter left. So if I need to really pack the ice on, if it's if it's like thick or a tapestry or something like that that's in there, I can really pack the ice on it. But that's my double fan fold, and I'm going to incline it. So on the left side of the roll is my nub, so I know I need to incline this side up and this side's going to be down, and it's going to be inclined at about 15 degrees. And I use these like catering pans, and it's got a little wire thing on it where you can like put a little burner underneath it. But I set that there. I put that's my drip. This is my drip pan, and I put that inside it, and I have my cooler. I have a cooler at this end, and incline it up. I mean, it's total. It's you know, MacGyver. In the tie-dye world, it's McDiver. So it's, you're always doing something, trying to figure out some way of inclining something or making a rack or an ice barrier, coming up with a new idea for an ice barrier and all that stuff. Just like I use these down here for my ice barriers. But so I'll put this end in, this end inclined up at about 17 degrees, and it's going to flow down. Hopefully I don't have any white. If I do, wah wah, I guess, and we'll see what happens here in a couple days. All right, so tonight's Saturday, probably Monday night, or actually probably Tuesday, because I'm going to let this go for 48 hours after the ice melts pretty much, so maybe Tuesday night. And a thing that you can do also is make little tags on your work, because if you start getting to where you have, you know, a couple, three things going on, and you might forget when you need to pull it. So I write down, this is a double fan fold, so DFF, and I'll write live, this is my live, and then I write the color, which is Mind Bender, and it's Mind Bender A, and the time is 9:30. It's 9:25, but we'll say 9:30 on Saturday. So I know basically I'll let it go for 48 hours from now. So I know in my attic it stays pretty hot up there, and I'll just let this sit in the gutter. And it's kind of humid up there, so I know my shirt's not going to dry out. It'll stay damp. And after that, after 48 hours, I'll take it out, rinse it off. I rinse it in cold water until it runs clear. You know, kind of run it and hand wash it, but just rinse with cold water until it runs clear. And then I use another salad bowl, a different salad bowl, and throw my shirt in it and run hot water over it and use a squirted on, like about that much, and hand wash it in hot water for about 2 minutes, and all the water will turn the suds. Pour it out, rinse it out till it's clear, and then wash as normal. And that's how I've done it since day one. I've never had any problems with bleeding or anything like that. I actually have white shirts that I used to throw in every wash that I did with tie-dye. No matter how many tie-dye I did. If I had 7 tie-dye I was washing out, I would throw that white shirt in there, and it is still white to this day. I actually took it, was wearing it to my Ven the other day, and to kind of show people that my stuff doesn't bleed. I've washed that shirt with tie-dye for, I don't know, 75 washes, and it's still white. So that's an idea for you to do if you're selling your tie-dye. Maybe throw a white t-shirt in your wash. That way you know that the next person is not going to bleed into their clothes, because it does happen, you know. Thanks for tuning in. I really appreciate you, and I hope you know, maybe learned a little bit. This is how I do it. There's no set way of actually doing anything. This is just how I've came up with it, from, you know, when I started doing it up to now. I'm constantly changing things. I learn things as I go. I try to think of easier ways of doing things. Um, so I would suggest doing the same. You know, I mean, if you don't progress, if you continue doing the same things over and over and over and over again, you're going to get the same results. So I try to mix things up, and maybe try to do, you know, just little minute things can mean a lot, you know. So have fun tie dyeing, man, and appreciate you very much. If you go out, take a cab, don't drive. All right, I appreciate you. And oh wait, how often do you use urea or gauze? I don't need to use urea because I'm ice dyeing. That's more of a liquid dyeing thing. And Glauber salt, if I do use it, it would be more in the winter time, when my blues doesn't seem to want to be sticking as well. I know some people could give me flack for even saying that, but it seems to work, you know. You can make a Glauber salt solution and pour it over your shirts, like a pariah method even, you know. I know people that do it, so. But that's about the only time I do it. Hey, Robin, thank you very much. I appreciate you too for watching. Um, okay, hold on. Have you ever gravity dyed backwards? Yes. If you were to go on my, I just posted a shirt the other day, and I don't have it because actually, I still do have it. Hold on, and I'll show you. It was accidental, but I have done them backwards before, and I never had the results like I got now. And this shirt, this cover-up dress did not sell, and I can't believe that it didn't. Let me wipe my table off here, and I'll show you before we leave here. This backwards incline, and I'm surprised it didn't get real muddy in the center of the dress, but man, it turned out beautiful. Hold on just a second. Okay, zoom in on this bad boy. I posted this not too long ago, I think last week or something like that. I can't believe this didn't sell at the vend I was doing. But this was inclined backwards, and if you really look at it, you can tell that everything's going the opposite way. Now, the shading right here, I think is just absolutely beautiful, man. It's really sharp edges right here. And I freaking love that. And this is Strawberry Skies and Moose. And I can't believe that it didn't get muddier than what it is down here. But this was purely accidental. I went up to check the next morning, check my ice and see if it was melted, and it was. And then I noticed that my gutter was inclined backwards. So yeah, you can incline backwards, but just be careful, because if you have dark colors down here, you just got to kind of be careful, because this could end up being really muddy down here in the centers. But I mean, the ones that I've done after this have still turned out good. I mean, this nice crisp green line right here, man, I love that. It looks almost cartoonish, but it was me a pleasant surprise when I pulled that out. I was super happy with it. So it's why one of the reasons I put more sinew on, or not sinew, sorry, why I put more soda ash on, because it'll help with the back to make it look like the front. But yeah, double fan fold, incline the opposite way, and this is a live and tell cover up dress. This is 2X, 3X. It's sold now. Girl, one of my friends, called and asked if it was still available. I can't believe it didn't sell. And it's beautiful. So, hey, thanks a lot for watching and tuning in and following along. If there's anything else you want to see, just ask. I mean, like real intricate stuff, mandalas and Ron stars and John stars and all that. I don't know those. I mean, I can learn them, but you know, there. I have a couple things in mind that I want to do here real soon, and um, I'm really anxious to do it. So we'll have to do it sometime here in the next week or so. All right, so thanks for tuning in, and if you have any questions or comments, just leave them. Um, you know, I'm not doing this to try to sell my work, but Rad Dye, I do sell my work on Rad Dye's tie-dye company. It's my business is on Facebook. It's about the only thing I do. I don't do Etsy or anything like that. So, you know, I mean, I do sell my work. If you're interested, tune in there and throw me a message. And most of the stuff I do is custom work. You know, I'll make a shirt and post it and sell like 10 of them, and then do another shirt and then sell 10 or 15 of them. You know what I mean? So I make them as I go. I'll make them for you. So just give me a shout, or I appreciate you tuning in, and have fun. And if you go out, be careful. Ride on. Peace. I appreciate you very much. Bye now.